Within the city of Philadelphia, the news of late has been of the increasing numbers of murders and violence. Often overlooked is what good people are doing for the city and for others. Now, how refreshing it is to see a young person, a woman in her 20s, doing something for others. In this case, the homeless. We've all seen these people who have nowhere to go. We've heard news accounts of the police taking the homeless to shelters during code blue alerts. To one young woman, if these people are going anywhere, they have to run. That's right, run, not walk to get there. Runner Ann Mellon is giving the homeless a hands up by having them use not only their hearts and minds, but their feet as well. Her organization is called Back on My Feet. She was recently featured on ABC as their Person of the Week. Andrew Marr is Back on My Feet's vice president. You'll meet him and learn more about Back on My Feet. And this is Art Andrews. We'll return right after this message. That's the beauty of digital editing. We can just take that right
out of there.
Yes, absolutely. All right, welcome back, and welcome to Andrew Marr, Vice President of Back on My Feet, whose mission statement is to promote the self-sufficiency of Philadelphia's homeless by engaging them to run. Andrew, how are you?
Thank you, Art. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, just want to give you some time, because this is a very fascinating organization.
Thank you.
And it's really a labor of love, isn't it?
It really is.
You'll never get rich doing this, but the richness comes and the enrichment comes from helping people help themselves. And this is really pulling people up and allowing them to do so, pulling them up by their bootstraps.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little about BMOC. It was established in July of 2007. It's literally a homeless club. Expand on that, if you will.
Well, it did start off as a homeless club, Art, that's for sure. In July of 2007 we started. We started with our first homeless shelter, which was Sunday breakfast on 13th and Vine, and we had 10 runners there when we had a handful of volunteers. Now, 6 months later, we have 40 residential members that are members of homeless shelters in Philadelphia that run with us, and 200 volunteers. So within 6 months we've changed and we've grown so much. So we've grown from a club, yes, but now we've grown into an organization and a community.
How did the homeless, and how do the homeless react to running? I mean, it's a very unusual thing, it would seem to me, that you want to help somebody. They're used to being brought in during code blue alerts. They're used to being given handouts from shelters and being taken to the shelters. But it must be a shock to people to hear that you want them to run. You got to be kidding. I mean, that would be if I'm homeless, that has to be my first reaction. What are you talking about? Run. Run where?
I think it's shocking for other people, but it's not shocking for us. And then let me tell you why. You know, we are athletes. The volunteers, everyone that comes along, we're athletes. This is our life. It's been like that for a number of years. With regards to the men and women in the shelters, they also have lived these lives of having sports in their life for years. And, you know, sometimes they've just made decisions and gone along roads that they've just not feel comfortable with. And they've come upon areas where, you know, they've struggled a little bit with their life, like we all do from day to day. So they do have sporting backgrounds. And a lot of the people that make the choice to run with us do want to enlight those feelings again that they've had from the past. So that's why they embrace running, and that's why ultimately every morning, well, not every morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday mornings, we run at 5:45, and they make the choice to get up every morning and complete a mile. And you know, we're up to even 6, 7, 8 miles a morning now with some of the shelters that we have.
How many people are in the program at the moment?
We have 40 people in the program. We have 4 shelter locations, which we meet in Center City, Philadelphia, as I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday morning at 5:45. So, you know, what's really unique now, Art, is that we have different teams running across the city, so we bump into each other.
Oh, that's great.
We have a team from Mercy Hospice on 13th and Pine that might bump into RWA, Ready, Willing, and Able, on 12th and Bainbridge, somewhere in Center City at 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's very unique.
It would have to be my guess that once these people start running, they're not going to drop out of the program. They want to continue.
Correct, for a number of reasons. Running gives you a sense of accomplishment, even if it's just half a mile, maybe 5 miles. I mean, some of the guys that we had with us in November completed the Philadelphia Half Marathon, which is an unbelievable accomplishment. So that's the key word right there, Art, is accomplishment. They're feeling that every single day. We bring a bunch of volunteers there every morning, and it's a sense of community now as well. And it's a loving community that we say to the guys and the women in the shelters, we love you, we're proud of you, well done. And it's sometimes they haven't heard those words in a long time.
Right.
So we're trying to bring that into their life. And let me tell you, when I say we bring that into their lives, they definitely bring that into our lives as well. So there's no separation there.
I'm sure. But all runners are not alike, as you know. I mean,
Sure.
some people are great at it, some people are going to be slower. And what's this? I guess I'm going to call it a skill level, because running, especially if you do it professionally and on a regular basis, there is a skill to it. And what is the skill level of the people involved that you help?
It's like anything in life. If you haven't run for 20, 30 years, then ultimately
Yes.
you're not going to be in great shape to
Right.
run 10 miles. So what we do is we put a plan in place. We have coaches for each every individual sharer that put routes together every single week, strategic routes of who should be running where. And then we might have a group of, say, 10 guys that run with us, and 5 of them may run one distance and 5 may run another, and that's okay. We make the routes according to those particular wants and needs.
Now, for people who are not as fast or can run as well, do you break these down into individual, like you say, you break these down into individual teams so that there's a certain level of proficiency, and I guess they can graduate from level 1 to level 2 to level 3.
That's correct, absolutely. And they basically do that at their own pace. We have an incentive program set up, which means that, you know, after 10 miles, we give them a gift card. We give the guys in the women a gift card. After 50 miles, we give them another gift card. After 100 miles, it's going to be a sports watch. After 250 miles, you know, it's a camera to document their life. So ultimately now, with the 40 people that we have running, we are past 4,000 miles, which is incredible to say that right now.
That's really great. Now, when these people run, do they have to run back where they started, or do you have transportation to bring them back?
We actually make the route so that we start and finish at the same location. So
Okay.
if it's a shelter location, say 13th and Vine, it's Sunday breakfast, we would start there, we would run. If it's a 2-mile run, we run a mile out and a mile back.